Hello students, I am Advocate Mansi Mittal. So today we are going to start with a new subject which is the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973. So before getting directly onto the sections, I want you all to know about the basics of the CRPC, right? For say the historical background of CRPC, what is the structure of IPC, scope, applicability, object, why do we require a procedural code? So let's start, right? If you know, see, if you know the basics, if you try to learn the subject from its very scratch, it will build up interest in your mind so that आपको चीजें in a better way understand होंगी. ठीक है, you will be curious to know about to know more about that subject. So I'm going to start the subject from the very basics, the historical background first. Now, what is the historical background of CRPC? Year is of the present act which we are using presently is 1973. So what about this before 1973? Which act we were using? So see, we had CRPC 1882, we had CRPC 1898. ठीक है? And what about before 1882? See, before 1882, there was no uniformity. Yes, we had CRPC, but we did not have a uniform CRPC. What does it mean? See, everybody on the screen, please see. Firstly, we had Mughals. ठीक है? Administrative power सारी मुगल्स के पास थी, so they used their customs. ठीक है? To punish people, what will be the procedure? Everything was according to their customs. ठीक है? Or their holy books. Then Britishers came, right? As you all know. Now, ये तो common था. Important is this part. Focus. So Britishers came. Now, what they did is they divided India into the towns, presidency towns and provinces. ठीक है? ये तो आपको पता होगा, presidency towns and provinces. So these presidency towns and provinces, they had their different and separate procedural laws. ठीक है? These presidency towns, they had their different procedural law. That is CRPC, Supreme Court Act 1852. ठीक है? वहीं these provinces had their own procedural laws, which is CRPC 1861. After this, these presidency towns, they had CRPC, High Court Act 1865, and these provinces had CRPC 1872, right? So here what you can see is there is no uniformity. There are different procedural laws for both the parts. ठीक है? Presidency towns were having their own procedural laws and provinces were having their own procedural laws. So there is no uniformity. So first time the uniform CRPC came into the year 1882. After this, this act was amended and we had CRPC 1898. But इसमें भी it had a lot of drawbacks. So finally, CRPC 1973 came into existence, right? Now you will think, ma'am, 1973 का जो procedural laws है वो अभी तक चल रहा है. The answer is yes, but as time changes, laws also changes. Laws also require some changes, which we call in legal language amendments. ठीक है? तो इस act में टाइम के साथ साथ जैसे जैसे रिक्वायरमेंट्स बढ़ती हैं वैसे वैसे हम चेंज कर देते हैं, कुछ ऐड करते हैं, कुछ अमेंडमेंट्स लेकर आते हैं लॉ में, राइट। तो इफ यू टॉक अबाउट द रीसेंट अमेंडमेंट्स, you can keep in mind the recent amendments of 2013, 2015 and 2018. These are the most recent amendments, right? इनके डेट भी मैं आपको बता देती हूँ, यू कैन नोट इट डाउन। तो 2013 वाला अमेंडमेंट केम ऑन 3rd February 2013 and 2015 the date is 23rd June 2015 and 21st April 2018. So these are the three recent amendments of CRPC. I hope the historical background is clear. Now, take before 1882, there was no uniformity since there were different procedural laws for presidency towns and provinces. But first time in 1882, a uniform CRPC came into existence. Okay? And presently we have our CRPC 1973. And these are the recent amendments. Right? Now, let's talk about the structure of CRPC. If we talk about the structure, we have 484 sections divided into 37 chapters. And most important, we have 2 schedules. इसमें से आपको बहुत सारे MCQ पूछे जा सकते हैं, कौन से वो भी बता देती हूँ. See, we have 2 schedules, schedule number 1 and schedule number 2. Schedule number 1 में we have 6 columns. 6 columns. How many columns? 6 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 columns. ठीक है? And schedule number 2 is simple. We have 56 forms. ठीक है? Now, इन 6 columns में क्या दिया गया है? इसके लिए I'll tell you one trick which is SOPS BT. SOPCBT. ठीक है? तो फर्स्ट कॉलम में you'll see the section, सेकेंड कॉलम में you'll see the offense, थर्ड कॉलम में punishment, फोर्थ कॉलम में it is cognizable or non-cognizable, फिफ्थ कॉलम में bailable, non-bailable and सिक्स्थ कॉलम में triable by whom. So in MCQ, if they'll ask you what is given under column number 4 of schedule number 1, so what you can do is make a rough diagram. SOPS BT. Right? Make a rough diagram. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can easily answer that first column में section, second column is for offense, third column is for punishment, fourth column is cognizable, non-cognizable, fifth column bailable, non-bailable, and sixth column triable by whom. So this is the trick to learn all the 6 columns of schedule 1, which is SOPS BT. Okay? And in second schedule, how many forms are there? So there are 56 forms. ठीक है? तो ये क्लासिफिकेशन आपको पता होनी चाहिए and this is the most important thing. ठीक है? इसकी मैंने आपको ट्रिक भी बताई. This trick is very important. ठीक है? SOPS BT. ठीक है? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 columns are there. Now, if we move further, this you already know. CRPC. P stands for procedure. ठीक है? So CRPC is a procedural law. Now, what is the procedural law? As we all know, IPC is a substantive law. It tells about the offenses, it tells about the punishment, it tells about the substance. It is a substantive law. Whereas CRPC is a procedural law. It tells about the procedure of arrest, investigation, how trials will proceed. So all this procedure will know where in CRPC 1973. ठीक है? So it is a procedural law. ठीक है? And as I told you, CRPC year is 1973. तो मैम 2022 तक presently how are we using that? बहुत पुराना हो गया तो amendments करते हैं. Recent amendments 2013, 15 and 18. Who can amend? It is a part of concurrent list. So union, yani ki parliament as well as state, both can amend. So with this, we are done with the basic part. Now, if we start with the sections, first is section number 1, which generally tells us about the applicability, right? So where is it applicable? It is applicable in whole of India, including Jammu and Kashmir. So yes, this was all about the introduction part of CRPC 1973. In next lecture, we are going to start with the sections part from section number 1. Hope this lecture was helpful for you all. Thank you very much. Let's meet in the next lecture.